Hey team, the purpose of this video is to introduce you to a whiteboard that might be installed in your computer already. I recognize that not every Clovis Unified employee has exactly the same laptop, so I could be designing a video that really only applies to half of you. If you do not have this resource located in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, this might not apply to you. So my computer is a Lenovo ThinkPad. It is an X380 Yoga, and it comes with a stylus located on the right-hand side of the computer. And so that's probably the reason why this resource is available to my computer. So I'm going to scoot all the way down to the bottom right-hand corner, close to where the clock is located, where the calendar is. And then right here where it looks like there's a ballpoint pen that's sort of dancing or skating around drawing something, it's the Windows Ink workspace. In the event you don't have the whiteboard quick link down here in your menu, the other option is to come all the way over here to the magnifying glass and to actually type whiteboard to see if you have whiteboard, even though you don't have that quick link in your toolbar. And then go ahead and see if that's there. If it is, feel free to open the app from that location instead. For ease of use, I have the ability to just click right here one time. If this is the very first time that you are clicking this, it might have an install button right there. So go ahead and click the install button, wait about 5 minutes for that software to install, and then you should be ready to go. And then right here, because I've already installed the software, I'm going to click right here where it says whiteboard. When this loads, it's going to take me back to the resource that I was working on previously because it's going to save my work. So I was modeling the idea of working with second graders and the idea of regrouping. In here, I have the ability to zoom in and zoom out. So I have essentially a massive whiteboard that keeps going and going and going. I was also working with a kindergarten team and talking to them about handwriting skills. And then I was also modeling the idea of counting money. So I'm going to go through some settings in here, and then I'm also going to model what it looks like to use the pen tools at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to scoot up to the right-hand side. I'm going to click right here to the stack of pancakes, and I'm going to open up the settings menu. If you want to turn the active pen on or off, you can. If you want the ink to recognize a shape and snap into shape for you, you can turn that on or off. So if you're writing on the screen and it's kind of like a triangle, do you see how it snapped into that shape automatically without me doing anything? Or a circle, and it kind of snapped into an oval for me. Likewise, if I were to draw a square, it's going to snap automatically. That's what that particular tool is. So if you want that ink to snap into shape, you can turn it on. If you turn it off, then it's simply going to be left in the position exactly where you drew it. You don't want the computer to override your specific shapes and make them any better than how you constructed them originally. So that's what that tool looks like. If you're working in tables and you want that information to snap into a table, then you can turn that on or off. If you want objects to snap into position, well, then you can go ahead and turn that resource on or off. If you want to export anything that you're working on as a PNG file or an SVG file, you can save those and then distribute those however you see fit. So exporting content is an option. I'm also going to come down to these three down here. If you ever want to clear the entire canvas, you have a trash can right here. You can clear everything. The toolbar, if you want the toolbar at the bottom of the screen to be located either on the left or the right or the bottom, you can move that toolbar to a position that works well for you. And then formatting the background is another option. If you want the background color of your whiteboard to be a softer color, maybe a light gray color, if you want it to stay vivid white, you have the ability to choose the color. And then if dots are important to you, let me zoom in so you can see that better. If dots are an efficient use of your space, or maybe you want squares, maybe you're graphing linear coordinates and you would love to have more of graph paper in the background. If you want wide lined paper, because you're going to be constructing sentences, or if you want narrow, you want those lines to be tighter in, you have the power to choose what that background is going to look like. I'm going to take it back to solid for the purpose of teaching. I'm going to scoot back. I'm going to come out. I'm going to zoom away. And now I'm going to model a few strategies. Now, let me model what it looks like to teach the students about repeated addition. So over here on the left-hand side, I can tap the pen. I can choose the thickness of the pen. And then each of these dots right here allow me to choose the thinness or the thickness of the pen. This area over here allows me to choose the color of that pen, and then I can start that lesson. If I want to draw several rectangles, and then inside those rectangles, I want to suggest the idea of repeated addition. So you can use the array strategy to model those arrays. And then maybe I want to choose the color, and I want to switch that color, and then I want to come in here and model what it looks like to have 3 of something in each one of these. I can talk to the students about multiplication and that parallel relationship between repeated addition and multiplication. After I've had a chance to draw my sample, then I can choose to change that color if I want to. And then I can identify that I'm adding 3 plus 3. Okay, so here's the first one. There's the second one. And then here's the third one and the fourth one. So I'm going to add 3 plus 3 again. But I only have 1, 2, 3, 4 threes. So I need to make sure that I have 5 threes. So 6 plus 6 equals 12, plus 3 more equals 15. And I can model that all over again by saying that 3 times 5, because I have 5 groups of 3, equal 15. I can highlight the fact that I got the same answer here and here. Both of my answers were 15 in that situation. Let me drag this model over. So I'm using my mouse, I'm clicking and I'm dragging. So here my whiteboard has now been extended. And then in this model, I'm actually going to scoot down here where I have the mountains. I'm going to click on the mountains and I want to bring in an image from Bing. And I can either use my stylus to write that maybe I want 2 pennies. And then down here, using an internet search, then I have pictures of what I was looking for. I'm going to click right here one time. I click on that plus symbol, and now I have 2 pennies to work with. I'm going to use the copy button right here. I'm going to copy that, and then after I copy it, I'm going to use my keyboard, Control V for victory, and I've got another copy right here. Control C, Control V, and now I have 6 pennies. Normally, I'd walk over to the bookshelf and then I would open up my manipulatives and I would search through in order to grab those. Or I'd have them on my table, sort through them, and then bring them up in front of myself. So if I'm working with my second grade students, then I can talk about coins, can talk about their value and what they mean. And maybe I had these tucked over in the corner out of the way and then I just dragged them. Maybe that was a tool, maybe that was a strategy that I used to prepare my lesson in advance so those resources were ready to go. I'm going to use this same strategy all over again. Instead of using that stylus, I'm going to type in here and I'm going to say 2 dimes. I'm going to be very specific. I want 2 dimes. I typed that in there and then I pressed enter. I didn't find 2 dimes. I found 1. There's the back side of 1. Here's a whole cluster. Some of these are foreign currency, so I need to be careful with that. And searching for content while children are watching is not the smartest strategy. So Control C, Control V on my computer, Control C, Control V on my computer. And if I think it's too big, I can actually make those smaller. I can make it larger so the students can see what I'm talking about. And then I can make that smaller if I need to. And then as I come to each one of these, it's up to me the size that I put it. I can scoot them over as needed. Now, if I wanted to, I can construct a question that the students can think about. If I added a dime to this, How much money would I have? I have a typo. I need to go back here. The letter I should be capitalized when it's all by itself. Okay, so here's my question. And then maybe I would say to the students using your whiteboard, I want you to use 1 minute and 30 seconds to see if you can think through that question. And then go ahead and write down the total amount of money that you would have at the end. All right, thinkers, you're off. I'll check in with you in 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then I would allow the students to construct their model or their thoughts, their ideas, and then in Zoom, each of them could show me what their answers are. I would probably use scaffolding strategies to ask the students to hold on to their answers and keep them private until I want all those answers to be revealed at the same time. Because if 2 or 3 students hold their answers up, then the rest of the students can easily just record or copy what the other students have recorded. Then when that time has passed, then I'm going to come in and I'm going to then affirm the students who responded correctly and then show strategies. So this is 2 cents. This is 2 cents. This is 2 cents. And this is 2 cents. 2, 4, 6, 8. I have a total of 8 cents over here. This is obviously not lined up very well. I think for the students, it would be better if I used a strategy where they were very lined up, because that's a strategy that we want to model for the children well. I want my 10s and my 1s to be lined up very well. I want those symbols where appropriate, ounces, inches, feet, meters, etc. So then I have 30 cents here. If I choose to change the color of my pen, I can highlight the fact that I'm not done yet because I have to add these 2 values together. If I want to record my thinking over here, then I could line that up, and then I have a final answer. I can ask the students for feedback. Friends, is that the final answer? And then they could give me appropriate feedback, yes or no. They might step in and say, no, you need a cent symbol. And wait a minute, Mrs. Culver, you did not respond to the original question. You still have to go back and you need to add 25 cents in order to get the total value. And then you can explain that process and then move on. So there's my little math lesson. Now, if I want to bring a PDF file or a Word document in here, or if I want to add some stickers, I have the ability to do that. Likewise, if I wanted to add a Post-it note of some kind, I can. I have the ability to explain to the students that the first task is going to be located here. If I want to add another Post-it note, then I can add a second one. Or if I want to utilize my metacognition in this situation, in this question, in this sentence, I would want to check my work. I want to look at the vocabulary again. I want to verify that my answer is correct. So if you have scaffolding strategies that you want to use with the children, then you could use these tools in order to showcase or highlight those key ideas. You also have an undo and a redo button over here. So if you make a mistake and you want to step back in time a few steps, you have the ability to do undo and redo. The lasso button or utility is right here. So if you want to draw a lasso around something and then get rid of it, then you have the ability to use the lasso in order to get rid of resources. If you want to highlight key content, then you're more than welcome to use that highlighting tool. You can make the thickness of the highlighter effective for what you want to highlight and so on. To quickly move on, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can also move that paper and then zoom in, and then now I'm ready to move on to that next question. So I don't have to completely erase all of my thinking. Hey team, that's the end of my teaching session. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.